Our group has decided to discuss the ethical dilemmas that arise with the proliferation of the use of drone technology. Drones are no longer just being used for guided missile strikes in wars overseas. Now they're domestically being used. Amazon wants to use them for package delivery. People are able to buy them and use them for fun and for things that may not be quite so legal with camera drones that you can get for less than the cost of a tank of gas. There are privacy concerns, there are ethical dilemmas, and there are possible new laws that are going to have to be made regarding all of this. And that's what we're going to look at today.
Look at that thing lifting like nothing ever happened. Look how stable that is. All right, whenever you're ready, Gizawi. Now that definitely hit it. It's coming in, coming in.
Many new ethical dilemmas are arising with the widespread use of drones as they're becoming more popular. For example, privacy.
A Seattle woman says this is the peeping Tom of 2014. She called police to report a drone spying on her in her apartment. She said when she looked down, she saw its operators pack up camera equipment into a car and take off.
How far can a drone go towards your property or towards a building? How close can it get to windows? How much airspace do you own above your property? These are some things that need to be considered as drones become more popular and that legislation is going to have to be made for.
Well, I guess drones can also be used for law enforcement to prevent burglaries or find missing people. Firefighters can also use drones to search buildings that might not have cameras available to see if anybody was left behind.
Ten years ago, people didn't have cameras on their phones the way they do today. Now everyone is carrying a high-definition camera in their pockets. As drones become more prevalent, the negative sides are going to present themselves, such as police now have a problem with people video recording with their cell phones. Police action, riots, takedowns, various possible questionable police tactics. How are they going to feel about drones being used for the same thing?
If you don't have a personal photographer, if you don't have a personal videographer following you around most of the time, how do you capture those most special moments?
To tell the quadcopter to unfold, then it's going to take off from your wrist. It knows where you are, it turns around, takes a picture of you, comes back, you can catch it from the air and put it back on your wrist.
Drones that are out of reach, you can't necessarily tell who's controlling them. Those aspects for law enforcement are going to be just as important as the positives for law enforcement.
Most people have never heard of DJI Innovations, but if you showed them the Hong Kong startup's best-selling product, everyone would recognize it immediately. DJI has created our favorite drone, the Phantom, a unit so ubiquitous it has become the face of the technology across popular culture.
Over the years, drones have been more easily available to the average everyday consumer. With this increase of drones, we have more problems in today's society. For example, when you walk out inside, look up at the sky, you see a random drone in the air. What can you really
In the United States.
How do you feel about the U.S. government wanting to bring drones to conduct surveillance on U.S. citizens?
Okay, well, surveillance of U.S. citizens is already being done with traffic cameras and, any number of wiretaps and you name it. I think that there's going to be laws involving, admissibility of these videos. There's going to have to be court orders to allow, certain things just to randomly fly over people's houses for surveillance purposes.
How much airspace do you believe we should have above our houses?
I feel that the airspace above the house should go accordingly to your type of needs you have, like about how you pay for the land and everything around it. So it should be according to how many square feet you have, and then multiply that by a certain number, and then you should have appropriate airspace